I'm gonna tell you everything about e-bike conversions. First thing, if you don't know what you are doing, don't do it. There's someone doing it on the internet. Don't do it. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Let me show you this case. This is a bike. The customer came in and said, I tried to convert it and it didn't go well. Can you help me? Yes, I can help you. How much is gonna cost? It's gonna cost a full conversion. What do you mean? I already put the motor, I put the battery. How gonna charge me a conversion? Yes, I have to undo everything that you did and we'll do it again. So, for example, disc brake, too small, spacer, plastic spacer. Okay, so the brake will heat up when stopping and the spacer will melt. Look at this wire here. So probably the tire rubbed and cut the wire, or was a sharp blade. Look at this connector here. Completely melted. Had to cut it open because look at this. This was the motor phase box. Look at the heat it produced. Look how burnt are the phase wires inside. So the guy didn't have any nuts holding the connectors together. So it built up resistance and melted. And luckily, it didn't short circuit the battery and everything. Look at the cables, how they were being passed on the bike. Unable to shift gears. So guys, if you don't know what you are doing, don't do it, If you don't have enough tools, if you are not mechanically minded, don't do it, because you're gonna actually cause an accident, or you're gonna come to a shop like us and we're gonna charge like a full conversion or more, because we have to undo what has been done in a very terrible way. For example, the battery was in this position. It's wrong. The battery has to be in this position here. Okay, we have other conversions coming. This case is a big hub motor, 1500 watts on this track. Another thing, torque arms. So I ordered the torque arms. So there are reinforcements that will go here on the dropout, because this motor was one step up from coming off the dropouts. All right, so stay tuned for more. So basically what we have to do here on the back of this e-bike is we had to manufacture these custom torque arms. You can see how they beautifully attach to the bike. They have cuts in them, so they perfectly fit on the bike. And then we have an arm linking this hole to this other hole here. Spacers, 2 spacers inside, 2 washers, giving the perfect alignment for the brake caliper. We installed an 180 millimeters disc brake. Ideal would be to go with 203 at the back, but this frame won't accept it. So 180 is the maximum we can go on the back. While on the front, we have 2 spacers and then the caliper. I use this 4 millimeters Allen key, so I can measure to see if the race of the disc brake is a perfect match for the brake pads, the size of the brake pads. You cannot have any brake pads left above the disc, okay? That could be dangerous, because the disc will wear out the brake pads and leave that edge, which hasn't had any contact with the discs, untouched. And so the edge of the brake pad on that side, inside of the wheel, and the brake pad on the outside will touch at the top, and it will prevent you from squeezing the pads against the disc brake. So because we're going with a 203 disc and this fork is for 180 millimeters only, any 203 adapter I install on this fork will not do a perfect match between the brake pads and the race. So I prefer to go with 2 adapters of 180 millimeters. Back to the motor, it's important. For example, this side we have a torque arm as well, custom cut, perfect fit. We're gonna have an arm linking both ends. But before I start adding the nut and tightening the nuts and torque arms, it's important to note that I I filed just a little bit, you know, without leaving any sharp angles. You see, it's perfectly rounded, but I filed just the corners of the dropout, just the little corners with a circular file, a rounded file. So in this way, I allow the axle to go deep into the dropout, all right? Before the axle was sticking out of the dropout because it couldn't do the perfect curvature of the frame. Yes, I know why. Because the original rear wheel axle is a 10 millimeters axle. And this rounded part here is 14 millimeters in curvature. So doing the filing for this type of axle is necessary, but you cannot create any sharp angles inside of the dropouts. Otherwise, you're gonna concentrate tension over there. Right here is just perfect. On both sides I did that. We're gonna install the torque arm. One thing, as we preload the axle for tightening, it's important to note that the motor will spin forwards. The entire wheel will spin forwards, while the axle wants to spin backwards. So the first nut I'm gonna tighten will be this one, the left side nut of the motor. So as I tighten, I bring the axle backwards and reduce any looseness. While the torque arm, I'm gonna try to find a way that if the axle wants to continue spinning backwards, it will hit this knob here. Okay, so probably I'm gonna be pulling this torque arm down all the time as I tighten it. And then I will add the reinforcement bar, okay? Then I will go and I will tighten the right side. And this one I will do the same thing. I'm gonna bring there's a small gap. Oh, you see this gap? I bring it already against the dropout, forcing it downwards, because that would be the orientation. The axle would rotate when the wheel spins forwards, and then I would tighten the nut and then add the reinforcement arm over there. All right, this track is gonna be a beast. And I'm gonna show you this freshly converted e-bike. So this was a track mountain bike, beautiful color, nice geometry, but it didn't have enough brakes for this bike. We're going with a 1500 watts rear hub motor. Look at the reinforcement torque arms that I manufactured for this bike. So there is a metal plate at the back. I had to shave the metal exactly to fit these two knuckles of the dropout, then add this third bar connecting the bracket to the dropout. We have two spacers on the inside, height and style washers, and we have a spacer as well between the disc brake and the hub motor. This is about the maximum we can go with this setup. You see, there's not much room. I don't think a 203 disc brake would fit on this frame. On the right hand side, we have the same setup in terms of torque arms, going very well. All the gears shift properly. The derailleur doesn't touch the cover of the motor. As you can see, the back wheel is properly aligned with the frame, which is a plus. Not all conversions people pay attention to that, and that's very important. On the lights, you can see we have a setup here, so the system is on. Every time that I turn off, the lights will automatically go off and they won't turn on. What happens when I turn the e-bike on through the main dashboard buttons, I also turn on the lights. So here I can turn on and off the lights individually, no lights. If I press here, I have the lights. So I integrated, this is left turning indicator light, this is the right one, and this is both of them together. So we also have an electronic horn and a normal cyclist bell. We put the throttle on the right hand side because the bike's so powerful, you basically don't need to shift gears whatsoever, and so you can just ride it as a motorbike. So upgraded brakes, reinforced motor, set of front and rear lights connected to the controller and the system. And yeah, man, this bike is a beast, ready to deliver to the customer. Cheers from CyberBikes.